we do that, then we can just bend it.
So this is one of our least favorite jobs. I think we've tried to videotape this a bunch, but what happens is there's a drain tube in the wall of your 550 or 650 freezer that cracks, and you can run down a drain heater, but it'll just keep icing up. So a lot of people have the experience where the technician says, oh, gotta buy a new fridge, but you don't. You just have to have a useful idiot like us. And we will cut open the side of the unit. You can see we got our angle grinder. You can go ahead and start showing everyone what we're doing. We're gonna cut that open. We're gonna change that tube with a new tube and reheat it with a new heater. Okay, so there is the wall. We open it up and here's all the insulation. This one in particular has a small pin-sized hole right on the side, and moisture, I assume, you can see it's all oxidized in there. I assume that's where it was freezing up, but we will run a new tube. Worry not. We'll have to scoop out all this insulation, and we'll have to reconnect with the drain tube that routes into the pan underneath the machine. And then we'll get a drain tube heater installed in there. But this is the one we put in last week that just didn't work. And we'll be good to go. So we got the tube in, and we're just gonna test it by pouring a little water down. And we wanna see, basically, that water come out of the tube underneath the machine up by the heat loop. And yep, he poured some water down, and I just saw a nice puddle down there. So that tells me that that drain tube will get reconnected. We will run the drain heater, which was actually we installed last week, which is perfectly fine, back into this tube heater, and he'll start carving away. We'll show you right before we're done with it. Okay, so I cut it down to size and we scooped out the insulation. We will reconnect this to the drain inlet there, but first, a little pro tip, we need to get this heater down the drain. Sub-Zero will give you a rope, a little piece of string. That's great. What's better is fishing leader, metal. Never breaks. You tie it to the bottom of the drain heater, and then you run it down the tube, and then you pull out from the bottom. You'll see him doing that. You'll grab it on the bottom, pull it out. The tube will snug right into the drain tube heater will snug right into the tube. Okay, so we're just carving this out. Let me show him, Joe.
Yep.
We've got the tube down into the drain on the bottom, connecting to the inlet at the top. It's all in place. We're snugging it back into the insulation. Got the drain tube heater through the tube. And we are probably going to re-insulate by using the great stuff over at Home Depot. We'll fill that in as best we can. We'll tape it up with duct tape. And we'll slide it back, and this should function as normal. Here we are sort of filling in the tube. And it really expands good. You just kind of want to fill it in wherever the hose is, and we'll smooth it out before we push the wall back on. And it works, man. It seals and it insulates. Well, it's rough, but we'll clean it up, and when we get that wall slap back on, that'll provide plenty of insulation for that tube. And that's it. So we put a final mask of duct tape on it. It's got the great stuff insulation in there. New tube all buttoned up. This thing's ready to slip back into the wall. And you're gonna have yourself a working freezer. No need to buy a new one. Hopefully you get a couple more years out of it.